All right, 6 o'clock, why don't we get underway here? Call the meeting to order. I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the November 23rd Select Board meeting, the November 29th budget meeting, and the December 6th budget meeting.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion about those three? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. 4 all. Okay, additions and deletions, I don't have any for those. We
Sure,
have
we had the yesterday's meeting,
yesterday's.
the December 13th minutes.
Oh, do I? Okay,
They came in after the agenda.
all right. Are they in
They're
the
in the
packets?
packet.
All right, so we have the December 13th meeting. Thank you. To approve as well. Okay, a motion to accept the December 13th budget meeting.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Now we have members of the public here today. And we're going to use that to talk with the town clerk. And then there are a couple other issues that may require moving the new business up. Connie, all right. Not Connie, Alaka, go ahead.
So I spoke to the Secretary of State's office. They finally called me back on yesterday. I read some stuff about Newfane just had a special town meeting, and they had people that were writing in that they weren't comfortable going in person and voting. One was actually a Vietnam vet that feels, he's sacrificed a lot to vote and didn't feel comfortable going because of COVID protocols. So I just wanted you guys to kind of start thinking about town meeting. We have to wait until the governor decides or signs, I think, legislation, if I don't have the right language, to allow select boards to make a decision, or BCA to make a decision to hold an Australian ballot for town meeting. I've spoken to a fair amount of people in town that are concerned with the COVID numbers going up. I had the first death certificate I've had since I've been here in March where COVID was the cause of death. Andrew Seaton says they're flying people sometimes as far as Pennsylvania for ICUs. And I just think it's something to start thinking about as far as town meeting goes. We do have to wait until the governor gives the power to the towns to make that decision. And once they do, which he thinks will be in the beginning of January, we still have 30 to 40 days to warn it that way. But it was just something for you guys to start thinking about for what's in the best interest of the community. I also just want to point out that I think normally town meetings have about 100 people voting. For our last one last year, it was 248 people came out to vote. We do have over 1,000 that are registered, but that's something where sometimes, especially with the way people's finances are these days, it's really hard to take a day off of work to come to town meeting, and therefore sometimes people don't exactly get a chance to exercise their right to vote and have a say in town meeting. So it's just something to bring up for you guys to start thinking about.
Okay. I believe last year when we went through this and we did the working group to establish the Australian ballot, that we had to vote last year to continue the Australian ballot. So I think, I'm not 100% with this, I have to look it up, that we would need a governor's declaration in order to change it this year.
The Secretary of State's office said that the governor, they're pretty confident that he is going to say, he doesn't necessarily want to do a mandate across the state, but wants to, he is very comfortable leaving it up from town to town to make the decision what's in the best interest, so that the Secretary of State's office is pretty confident that the governor will make that decision.
Okay.
But we do need to wait for that.
Any questions, comments? No? Okay. Thank you, Alaka. All right, entertain a motion from the board to take the agenda out of order and go down to new business. There are 4 articles down there, and we have people to speak about those articles.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0. All right. So the first one we have is BDCC SeVEDS.
Hi, that's me. Thanks for moving us up. That's great. I know that you folks received some of these things already, so unless the select board wants extra copies of them, but I could pass them out to the folks in the audience if you're interested. I work for, I'm here on behalf of Southeastern Vermont Economic Development Strategies. So if you're interested in our annual report, why not? You can always give it back to me, or recycle it. Anybody care for one? Sure, thanks. All right, great. Do you guys want one too? And do you guys want a hard copy of the, no, okay. Awesome. Should I guess here is fine. So, thank you for having us, first of all. My name is Christy Beatty, and I run the Pipelines and Pathways program, which is a career awareness and preparedness program that works throughout Windham County schools, and I work at Leland and Gray weekly with your student population. I'll talk more about that soon, but I thought what I would do is just first make my request, because I always forget to do that, and then just talk you through a few of the highlights from the annual report that are specific to Townshend. Does that make sense? Yeah? All right, great. So the letter you received from my executive director, on the second page of that makes the request. And essentially what we do is we go to each of our municipalities throughout Windham County, and we ask the town to place SeVEDS in the 2022 general fund budget. And with Townshend, we're asking that you appropriate $3,696 to support continued implementation of the SeVEDS efforts. That's based on a population of 1,232 residents, and that is roughly $3 a head. So we use this money to, we leverage the municipal support to create programs like the program that I run in the career sector. We do workforce development, we do small business support and lending. So I'll tell you a little bit more about those things. So there's my request, I did it. So the next part I thought I would talk to you about is just to kind of open up this annual report. Oh my goodness, excuse me. Yeah, and I wanted to point out, if you go into page 1, under the Windham Economy Supporting the Region from Pandemic to Recovery, I just wanted to talk a little bit about what we did when the pandemic hit. We actually, a lot of our programs were put on hold. So we ended up having a liaison program, and I ended up being one of those people, helping small businesses sort of navigate their way through the PPP and the EIDL loans and all of the confusion that was happening and sent down from the federal government. So we were able to help 8 Townshend businesses navigate those very challenging paperwork from the federal government. We did that with, one-on-one support, but we also did webinars weekly, where we had, legislators coming in and really giving us those updates, because things changed so quickly. So that's one of the things we did with the pandemic. If you turn to page 3, BDC expands its business support team, actually based on all the great feedback we got from the businesses throughout Windham County. We said, wow, we've got to really bump this up and help support small businesses. So we have a bigger business team now. And so if you are interested in, or any small businesses are interested in our support, either creating a business plan, finding some lending, or just any kind of strategizing, you can click on this little QR code in there, or you can go to our website, and there's a team of folks who are there to support the small businesses. So,
Great.
yeah. If you turn to page 4, this is where I can sort of talk a little bit more about programming because it's my program, but I run the Pipelines and Pathways program, and I've been in the position for about 3 years. We have a really great working relationship with Whelan and Gray, and right now I'm working with their senior survival class to make sure that every senior who graduates has a post-secondary plan, whether that be college or workforce bound. So really focusing in on, the fact that not every kid wants to go to college or is going to benefit from that, and there are plenty of opportunities through, going directly into the workforce or through credentialing programs that can help them get where they want to go and maybe not have all that student loan debt. So you'll see pictured one of the students who graduated last year. He has a teal honor cord on, and that signifies that he's Windham work ready, which means that he's gone through our program and we feel that he is ready to take his first steps into the professional world. So all those seniors who did that program last year, almost all of them got the Windham work ready credential if they showed up and really put the time and effort in. And every year one student receives a scholarship from us that can be used for anything work related or education related. So there's a lot of things that we do. I don't want to go too deeply into that, but you're welcome to ask me questions about it. I will say also this summer we did an internship program, so it was a sort of boot camp for students, and we placed 3 Townshend students in paid internships, so at $14 an hour, which is pretty good. Let's see what else. What else can I point out? On page, I'm blind, excuse me. On page 6, the community facilities, building blocks, and thriving towns. We've been working with the USDA to ensure that Grace Cottage is getting all of the federal funding that's available to them out there, so we work closely with them. And then on page 7, we talked about, we have a Southern Vermont welcome wagon. So that helps folks who are coming into the community really establish some, foundational roots so that they feel comfortable and happy living here. And one of the things that we did this past year is work with the supervisory union here to support some new hire teachers through that process. And then I think just the last thing I'll mention is on page 8, the Southern Vermont Economy Project, we offer all sorts of workshops, online workshops, trainings, and I think actually, from what I understand, Sarah told me today, my coworker, that town clerk and assistant, is that both of you, are taking our grant writing 201 class. So we have a lot of resources available, and we would love to help you. So if you have anyone who has interest in working with the student population, please reach out. If you have a small business or know a small business owner who needs support, please reach out. And if you want to attend any webinars or any trainings, those are listed on our website, so they're all accessible to you. So, any questions?
Thank you.
Sure, thanks.
Here's a card.
I don't have a business card. I thought of this as it was, well, maybe I do.
Any questions for the rest of the board?
I have a question. I'm not from here. I'm Hope's sister. I live in Peru. I'm just curious to know, I know we got allotted a certain amount of COVID funding, which isn't clear where it's going, and I wondered how much of this, did you find it difficult to get funding for this? Did you use that type of funding?
For the education program, we actually didn't, but the schools themselves have applied for those resources, and I'm not sure from individual school to individual school what they've done. I was on the school board at Twin Valley for a while, so I could tell you a lot about that, but I know that they have accessed these resources, but our program itself has not done that directly.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was just curious to know where those sources are
Yeah.
going and who's applying for that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Sounds
sure.
like you're
So-
doing a great job.
Thank you.
As far as Townsend goes, your group is processed through the Social Services Committee.
Okay.
So you may want to touch base with them, and if you get in touch with Connie, she can forward that information to you or have them reach out to you. But that committee decides on what is going to be allocated outside of the general budget. Okay? And it goes to town meeting so the whole town can vote on it.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you very
All right.
much.
Thank you.
I'm gonna write down my number just on here. Yeah, sure. All right,
Okay.
thanks everybody so much.
Thank you.
Well, we have some people for members of the public who will bounce back up there. The last three issues on new business we'll deal with in time here. So are there members of the public that wanted to speak about an issue? Okay, your name please?
Betsy Thomason.
Okay. Betsy, go ahead.
Oh, sure. Hi, I'm Betsy Thomason. I live on 2766 Windham Hill Road. My postal box is, post office is West Townsend, but I technically live in Jamaica. I'm here because I want to open up a conversation about mask mandate that was passed down to you from the legislature last month. I see that it's not on the agenda, and I wanted to bring it out into the public for a conversation, for a discussion about the pros and cons. And I'm here as a retired respiratory therapist to share with you why I think that masks are ineffective in preventing anything except anxiety and anxiety. So, when I was in respiratory school 30 years ago, we learned that surgical masks do not prevent infection. If you're going into a contagious area, the only mask to wear was an N95. And you were fit tested with it once a year. That was a training that you had to go through to make sure that you knew how to fit that mask. And the reason we don't use them is because, for a lot of reasons, they're too expensive. They're meant for short-term use, and we don't have the supply. And I would say that the surgical mask, well, 30 years ago, we never wore surgical masks anywhere in the hospital. The only time you wore an N95, and unless you were going into the surgery, that's why they call surgical masks. They were for surgery. So we learned that surgical masks do not prevent disease.
Hang on just one second.
Sure.
Is there a specific issue that's come up about this in town? Because the position of the board has been that every citizen has the right to decide whether they want to wear one or not. And unless there's a governor's mandate that says we have to, we're not going to enact that at this point. So the legislature in their ruling, in their bill that they passed and the governor signed, was only about towns that wanted to go that way. As far as I'm aware, there has been no public outcry to have a mask mandate at this point. So we're not going there.
Well, thank you for saying that, and my apologies for not asking you what your intentions are, and I appreciate your saying that.
If the governor brings back the emergency order, which is highly unlikely, we'll deal with it that way. But, some of the information about masking and surgical masks and N95s, there's plenty of supply of all of them. I got a whole filing cabinet of them over there. And if somebody wants one, they can have it. If they don't, it's fine. So, we've heard all of that. We're not going to move to put that type of thing in place. Okay?
Great, yeah, and I just came really because I wanted to open up the conversation and hear what the town, put it on record that you're not moving on that mandate.
Unless the governor, the only reason we were in mask mandates and lockdown for a year here was because that's what the governor ordered. And if we didn't, we could be liable for people getting sick, and that's not a bridge we want to cross.
Sure. Well, I have a question for you then. What's the status of the library? Because the library requires masks.
That's their choice. That's their choice.
Okay, so organizations can decide what they want.
If there's a thing about masks with the library, you need to take that to the library board. They are the body that governs the conduct in the library.
So
And private businesses cannot admit you if you don't have a mask. That's their choice. I don't know of any. Have you heard of any in town that have done it?
I mean, I think there's people that have suggestion that they like it, but
Yeah.
I haven't seen anybody thrown out by their belt buckle because they didn't have one on.
So it's a personal choice. That's the way we're looking at it until we're ordered to do something else.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Since the library is funded by the town,
Not all of it.
not all of it?
No, and the town has no control over it according to the Secretary of State.
Okay, gotcha. I thought because they were getting public funds that we didn't have control. No, not necessarily, huh?
Nope.
Okay.
Was there someone
Can I
else
get
that
your
wanted to
name
speak?
real quick?
Oh, okay.
I got your name,
Laura?
Laura?
Ma'am, I think you had your
Yes,
hand up.
my name is Lee Marinoff.
Yes, Lou. What can we do for you?
Hi. First of all, thank you for allowing the public to come in and make comments. I'm also here to talk about the mask mandate, but you've already answered my question, so I have a backup thing I'd love to talk about. I'm at 1276 Windham Hill Road. I run something called the Young Farmers Program for Meadowsby Farm. We educate a lot of kids all through this region, kids from all over the world. And I know that every town has money for the COVID, whatever it's called. And my suggestion is, because I am speaking on behalf of children, that we might get together with other towns that also have funds, like Jamaica and Windham and Peru, and put together a group of people and some time and a coalition to look at what we might do in this time. I know a lot of the children that I teach have tremendous PTSD and tremendous economic insecurity. And I thought as a group we might get together in southern Vermont and come up with something that could look at best practices. That while we know that COVID may be here to stay and other things may be unfolding after COVID, could we come on the behalf of the children and try and help prevent obesity, diabetes, and really look at nutrition and what food nutrition is. So I'm hoping that as towns we might put together a fund to work on behalf of the children. I'd like to see a conference on Zoom if it has to be, but actually in person, and let Southern Vermont be the leader of this. So I'm putting that out. I'm going from town to town, and I'm just trying to gauge your interest in something like that.
Are you looking to gauge our interest as a board or interest as in individuals? Because-
Whatever. It's an idea that's really come on behalf of the governor going from Dillon's rule to home rule by dropping things into your lap. So I think, well, if we're going to do that, I mean, not really going to home rule, but if we're going to do that, I think we should try and take it to the next step. So anyway, I'm just looking for your reactions.
Personally, I think the place for you to start would be the school district and the school
Right.
board. We have limited funds through ARPA that until we get the budget settled and town meetings settled, we probably won't sit down to start working on, but those are very specific funds. And what you're talking about as far as education seems to me like the best place for that is going to the school board, because they have reach in every town in one board. So the Unified School District office down here on Route 30.
But is that where childhood nutrition, is that where
That's
what
where
that
kids
comes
get-
out of, is the school board?
That's where kids learn. They learn all
Where do
kinds of
kids
stuff.
eat?
What's that?
Where do they get money for food?
As far as I know, the school provided food during the pandemic response. But
Well, I'm
That's
looking
not
for
something that
I'm
we
not
can
looking-
help you with.
Yeah, no, that's not really what I was looking for. I was really looking for best practices.
then
With COVID, what are the next best practices so our children are the healthiest they can be?
I think
Not for the amount of nutrition that's in school lunches.
stability in their environment is important, and that starts at home, and then it should be carried over to the school. So if you're looking for a broad coalition type of thing, I'd suggest that's where you go.
Right, well, we are building a broad coalition.
Okay.
So we have many towns already interested. So
Okay.
if you'd be interested, I'll come back and present again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Was there anyone else? That, go ahead. Your name, please?
Tasha Landman.
Okay.
I spoke with you the other day about the parade on Sunday.
Oh, yes, yes.
And
How are you doing?
Good. Just wanted to come here. You said tell everybody what our plan was, and we're still, it looks like we have a pretty good group of people that want to come out. I've already talked to the school. They're willing to let us use the parking lot again. We can go down. We were going to go down at 11 o'clock on Sunday and head out around noontime. Loop up around Valley Cares a couple times. I've spoken with them. They are eager to have us come back, and
This is the holiday parade.
holiday parade with all the horses.
Okay.
And when we come back around to the common, and we're actually gonna have hot chocolate and cookies and do a meet and greet with the horses for children and people that wanna actually see them up close instead of just running by on the road.
Just to let you all know, she called a couple of weeks ago and asked about having the parade, and I asked her to come here to give the details. And I suggested at that time that Charlie Marchant and the fire chief be involved in it, and that's kind of where we're at.
And I have talked to Glenn, and I'm still waiting to touch base with Charlie.
And he knows about it, he's heard about it.
Yeah, we met in passing, but we didn't talk. I called his house and the phone is rang and rang and rang, no answering machine, so.
Yeah, you gotta catch Charlie in the evening, I'm afraid.
So yeah, we're trying to touch base with that, but as far as it all goes right now, and I'm not positive if other people are here for the same reason, but I believe there was a issue with the tree and the lighting and whatnot that was going on.
Okay.
That, because I know we were discussing doing that.
Is there any questions about the parade?
No.
The holiday parade?
No.
Okay.
I make a motion to allow the Christmas horse parade using the same protocol that you used the last few years, and keep it up. Good job.
Is there a second? Second. Is there any more discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0.
Thank you.
Okay, now there's an issue about the common. Okay,
That's what I'm here about. So anyway, you know.
hold on just a second. Could you
Sorry.
just give your name, please?
Oh, Laura Richardson.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So over the past few years, some folks have been donating lights and a tree and decorating the common for the holidays, just because it's like a couple of dark months and it's nice to have something bright and pretty out there. And as a rule, there haven't been any problems, but for some reason this year, someone has decided to vandalize the lights. One year the tree was vandalized, but it was after Christmas, so we didn't care. It's like whatever. This year the lights were messed with numerous times, and then the last time I went to check on it on Saturday to see what was going on, someone had actually literally pulled the plug out of the lights themselves and stolen the extension cord, and they've already destroyed the timer that I put on. I don't know what's going on with it. I'm sure it's like, I'm calling it the Townshend Grinch. Yeah, we have a Grinch. So anyway, I talked with a Warren Beauty about it, and I was asking him if he could come up with any ideas as to ways that we could maybe, not environment proof, but make it so that people can't as easily access the electricity to mess with things. And he said he thought he could help out. He also suggested a game cam, but he said that there might be some issues about putting a camera on public property, that maybe you have to have a sign up or something. I'm not quite sure what the legalities are, but personally, somebody's being malicious about something that brings a lot of people joy, and I think it kind of makes Townsend look kind of good to have lights up during the holiday. Most New England towns do in their common. I told him I was coming here tonight, and he wanted to just know what your thoughts were about whether it's okay for him to do something in the gazebo to try to make it so that people can't tamper with the lights. I'm pretty sure John Evans is going to try to put up a tree anyway, and I was kind of discouraged about it, but he wants to go forward and put up the tree, thinking that, hey, why let these people ruin everything for everyone? So I'm not sure how that's going to fly as far as somebody tampering with it, but we're willing to give it a try. So we're just trying to figure out, is there something that we can do as a town or a group to make it so that, you know, we can have this beauty for a few months out of the year and not have somebody ruin it for everyone. And that's why I'm here.
Do you think it's a kid issue, or I haven't seen where the electrical outlet is, but is it somebody,
Well,
is it a kid climbing in there and messing with it?
It's a kid issue. There was also vandalism at the high school. The state police are involved. So I believe the state police know exactly who it was. I can't promise it won't happen again, but there's an investigation going into it with some of the stuff that happened at Leland and Gray, so it's coupled.
mhm.
How long
Yeah.
ago was this damage? If they-
Well, I went Saturday to check on the lights again because we were gonna put the tree up on Sunday, and the
This
first
past
time,
Saturday?
this past Saturday,
Okay,
yeah, just
alright.
a couple days ago. The first time it was tampered with was right after I hooked them up and finally got them going, and somebody had unplugged. I usually put in a timer on a rat tail with a breaker and then plug it in so that it's as safe as I can make it and it's not on all the time. And they had unplugged the rat tail, broken the timer, and unplugged the lights. So I plugged them back in. And I don't have a way to get down there and check all the time right now. So I went to check about a week later and they were unplugged again. And so I just plugged them back in.
I know they
And-
make lock boxes for electrical outlet covers. They make them to
Yeah,
cover the whole
I'm not
unit
sure what
and they
Warren
lock.
has in mind, but he did say he would help out at free of charge. He wasn't gonna charge the town anything, he just wants to do it to try to make things good for folks, you know? And then when I went Saturday, not only had they stolen the extension cord, but they literally yanked the plug out of the lights themselves. So, I mean, we're talking like, this is like, really.
Did you
They're
call-
We
they're
found your
stealing
extension
things.
cord today.
You found the extension cord?
It was cut in half and it was put in the pump house for the fountain.
Yeah, I'm just like, it's obviously malicious. I don't know what, so anyway, Warren's willing to help out to try to make it so that it won't be tampered with, but he has to have permission, I think, from y'all before he can go there and start doing stuff to the electrical stuff. He's a licensed electrician, there shouldn't be a problem as far as liability. So anyway, we'd like to keep on trying, not to let this Grinch
I'd like to
ruin
make a
Christmas.
motion to allow Warren Beatty to do whatever he needs to do to secure the electrical system and make it so the lights work.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
What about the game camp? Do you think that's necessary?
That we need to look into.
I don't think that's appropriate.
We have,
Why?
You can-
Because I think you can solve it with a lockbox.
well, you can solve the access to the plug, but not cutting the wires, if that.
The elementary school has cameras that face and see it. Unfortunately, they are deleted every 24 hours.
Yeah.
So if we don't see it, but there are, I mean, if we had
There are
caught it
cameras.
quick enough, we could have seen from that, but it has to be within a 24-hour
As
period.
far as the cams go, the only question there is whether we would need to post it, that it's being recorded.
Yeah.
Now, in some cases, you can record something if you have a targeted type situation, but to leave it going all the time and record what people are doing, that's where you may need the warning signs. So that's an issue we would need to follow up.
Yeah, and it's kind of a last resort thing too. I'm not a fan of recording what everyone's doing either. So I just was like grasping at straws, trying to figure out a solution. And many people suggested that.
Okay, we have a motion on the table that's been seconded, we're in discussion. John, did you have anything with this?
No, I just plan on putting a tree up Friday if it's all right with the board here.
Do what you normally do, don't let him stomp on what you normally do,
All right,
okay?
yes, I'll take care of it.
All right, go ahead.
Who actually watches the video? The
So
video.
I think they only watch the video if there's a need. I mean, they don't have time to sit and watch through a
Okay,
video.
yeah,
So it's
I
like
can
if
see
there's a time, my daughter was almost hit by a car with her friend, with someone that went by really fast, and they were able, like they knew what time it was, they were able to pinpoint that, but no one watches it, so it's, you know.
What would it take for them to have like a 48-hour?
I don't know.
I mean, that might be something to think about to budget in so that you had a little more capacity
I
to,
can ask
you know,
Wendy
give a little
tomorrow.
leeway. That way, it, you know, 24 hours, so it means somebody needs to be on like watch.
And if it's already established, we may be able to avoid having all of
I
the
can ask Heidi.
legal intervention.
Is that posted?
There's also a
That
thing with
they're-
them, somebody's been busting out
It's
the railings.
elementary school.
Yeah, that's been
Those
going on for
upright
a
things
year.
and, yeah, there's a lot of vandalism going on there, even without the lights.
Same thing with the fountain.
Yeah,
The stones are coming off. We asked a letter to be sent to Roach last year to get the kids out of the fountain, and nobody does anything about it. They're out there for recess. We drive by every day, we see it. They're climbing over the fountain, they're walking on the stones, and they're breaking the stones. Then they throw them in the fountain. So,
wow. That's too bad.
Any other comment before we
If only
go
the
on?
kids had a rec center or somewhere fun to play, maybe they wouldn't be breaking stuff around town.
That would be awesome.
Just
Okay.
saying.
It seems weird that we've had the fountain out here, I believe, for probably 100 years at least. And most people had the decency and respect to stay off of it. And now all of a sudden in the last few years, we need to have a rec center in order to keep them occupied, to keep them off of it. How about somebody discipline them and keep them off of it? Same way they did for the other 145 plus years. I mean, it's been there a long time. Without a rec center.
Aren't they supervised during their breaks out there?
What's that?
Aren't the children, they must have people watching them when they're out there playing, right?
Well, we are, as we're watching them climb on it, we're watching them as we go by.
Oh,
That's one person that's watching.
supervising, I should have said.
Okay, so the motion has been made. The motion's been made and seconded. This is, are we finished with discussion? Okay. All those in favor of having Warren Beatty do what he needs to do to secure the lighting system on the common, signify by saying aye.
aye.
Any opposed? 4-0. You gotta go.
Yeah, how late are you guys gonna be here?
Not much longer.
We'll get it, we'll get you on, or I'll get an answer for you. Okay,
All right, thank you.
all right, all right, we're still in, members of the public. Is there anybody else that has an issue to bring up? Okay, we'll move on. We received a letter from Michael Meyer, and Steve looked into this. Steve, can you tell us what's going on?
A class 3 town road, dead-end road was being blocked by a resident's vehicle. It's been an ongoing issue. I was asked to see if I could address the issue. I went over and spoke to the resident. He agreed not to block the road any longer. And this is about 2 to 3 weeks old now. And I have been checking every time I drive by, and the road has been opened.
Okay. No other actions necessary from us then,
No.
at this point?
No.
Next up, we received a letter from William Lindsey about speed on Route 35 around the hospital area. This issue's been discussed. The state is the one, through study, if I understand this right, who set the speed limit for that road. The concerns about this have been well documented, and we'll pass it on to law enforcement. Unless anybody's got anything else they want to add. Nothing else? Okay. All right. Rob, go ahead.
Make a motion to pay the warrants. Starting, hold on here, caught me off guard.
Yeah.
Pay the warrants, starting with number 1, payroll in the amount of $14,711.21. Number 2, payroll tax in the amount of $5,216.46. Number 3, the general fund, the amount of $27,213.26. Number 4, general fund, the amount of $179.78. Highway fund, the amount of $5,214.27. Highway fund, the amount of $240. Number 7, equipment fund, $13,285.46. Total of $66,060.44.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion about payroll warrants 1 through 7? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying payroll warrant, or paying warrants in a total of $66,060.44, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No abstentions, 4-0. All right, go ahead, Steve, with the highway report.
Well, we've only had a couple small nuisance storms so far. We're watching another one for Saturday. Maybe you'll have a nice white. Okay. But it's looking like it's tracking this way now, so we'll keep our eyes open for Saturday.
Okay.
That's about it.
All right. Any other questions for Steve? All right. Treasurer's report is here. We have in the municipal investment fund $1,365,980.92, and the checking account stays steady at $30,000. We have the clerk's report in the packet for you to review. Counter money. Let's see. I have nothing as far as the chair's report goes, other than we're getting close to finishing off the budget. The last budget meeting was last night, and a couple of clarifications need to be made, and then we'll be presenting it at the 28th meeting for ratification by the whole board. We have no old business. We've gone through the BDCC. Windham County Humane Society sent us a letter, and in that letter, they are requesting that we sign the contract for the last year. Apparently it slipped through the cracks somewhere, and they just caught it, and they're asking us to just sign it so that it's effective through 2022 as originally proposed. Is there any questions about that particular article, particular item?
No.
See, in reading it, it seems that there's no real changes that I've seen. The only thing I would ask in the motion is that you authorize me as the chair to sign as the town agent the document. I'd entertain a motion to accept the contract for the Windham County Humane Society to take care of our stray animals that come.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion on this? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. As far as the signature, I'm not gonna bring that back to a motion, but as long as you all are all right with it, I'll take care of it. Okay. I'll take care of signing that. All right, next up, Rescue Inc. Rescue Inc. has their contract for the next 3 years coming up. What it means to us basically is over the next 3 years, $116,000 for services. We will get a contract in the fall, in the spring, with the final numbers, but we've already added to the budget what the calculation is based on their formula. And that was, was that 38,500? I think so. Yeah, about $38,500 for the next budget year. Comments?
Up from 36 and change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's supposed to go up by 1% on the population, and the population went up from the 2010 to the 2020 census. All right, so we'll deal with that when it comes in.
Can we take a question from the floor on that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what does rescuing provide for that amount of money?
Basically, services in town, response to calls, transportation. We don't pay for trips, say to up north or down south, but they're here to respond to the emergency call.
And they'll take you to Dartmouth or whatever?
Yes.
You pay for it, yeah.
Yes, you pay for it.
Oh, but then you pay for it?
Yeah.
Do they have helicopter service?
No, well, Dartmouth does.
Dartmouth does, okay.
Dartmouth does. That's the only place. Well, actually, they get helicopter service from all over New England. Depends on what's available. Okay?
Interesting, thanks.
Yeah. Let's see here. Member dues from the VLCT are posted in $2,710 for the membership there for the year. And let's see. I think that takes care of all of that stuff. The last thing I had hoped that the fire chief would be here to discuss is the fire department has an issue with one of the fire engines. And the issue is that it is starting to show signs that it's struggling in the pump test. And what the pump test does is rate how well the engine is pumping water onto a fire scene. Now, the fire department had 3 trucks. One of them has totally failed, the oldest one. The only thing that can be used for is to haul water from one place to another, but it can't pump water. The truck we're talking about, the number 4 truck, is starting to show signs of the number 2 truck that failed was doing about 4 years ago. Now the choice is to refurbish the pump, the impeller, and bring it back up to standard before it totally fails, which will cost, as you can see, there's a cost estimate of $13,085.55 to do that, which will gain the town between 4 and 5 years of use of that truck for a frontline fire engine. Basically, that truck will be able to do anything to protect life or property. If we don't fix it now and it deteriorates or fails, that is going to leave the entire burden on one vehicle, which is over 20 years old. So the proposal is that we fix this truck. We use surplus monies to pay for it and get 4 or 5 more years out of it, which will give us some breathing room. And by breathing room, what I mean is the town sets aside a certain amount of money every year. That account has over $250,000 in it. The problem is the trucks that are built today won't fit in this fire station. So you can buy a brand new truck, but where do you park it? So what we're trying to do, and I say we because I am a member of the fire department and I won't be voting on this, is get some more use out of the vehicles that we have, keep them as up to date as we can, and build up some more money in that reserve account to potentially either build a custom truck to fit in here to replace the 20-year-old one that's the frontline truck, or see where it goes with the town vote for a new fire station. And there's a lot of moving parts to this. My suggestion to the board is we go with fixing that pump before it becomes an issue. It's either $15,000 now or 15 or 13. What did I say? $13,000 now.
Well, it's an estimate, so we don't know if it's $13,000. It's just an estimate. It could be much more than that.
So when you do it, you take and you say.
So this is what we're going to
word
do.
it, you say.
I'll make a motion that we go with Perkins Fire Pump Specialists to rebuild the pump on engine 4 per their quote of $13,085.55 plus shipping, and get this pump rebuilt with surplus funds.
how about we put in not to exceed the 13,085.55?
Whether you want to say
further notice.
quote or not to exceed, either one is fine with me.
That'll work. If it goes, Glenn will have to come back and give, or we'll take it out of resources that we have already established. The problem we run into is, as far as the fire department's town budget goes, if we exhaust that budget to try and fix this thing, we still got 6 to 7 months of work on a 20-plus-year-old truck and one that's kind of limping along. So that's our
maybe
choices.
could we, since it's the end of the year, could they use the rest of their emergency fund that they have set aside?
No.
Our fiscal year goes from July.
Right.
June to July.
If we don't do it now, if he doesn't get the order in tomorrow, the plant's shut down for the Christmas holiday, and when they come back, prices will have gone up. They've already
No, I
said
just mean their budget, doesn't their budget have extra cash?
But
in
they
it
have to
for
go through,
emergencies
they have to
like
make it
this?
to June 30th.
Yeah,
Oh, they have all the way till June.
yeah,
Okay.
that's where we run into a problem, is now we have to move, if we want to get it at the cheapest rate we can get it at, it has to go forward today. So whatever you decide, it
So
has
we
to
would
happen.
appropriate some tax money and some of allocated cash that's already put in?
No, I think
Or would
we
it-
can do it through the reserve, or what we have in.
Surplus.
Surplus, thank you. Reserve is a totally different thing. Surplus, we have a surplus that will be available to us for a while. Okay, any other questions, comments? All right, we have a motion, did we get a second?
Not yet.
Sorry.
Second, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor of expending the, what did you say, Steve? not to exceed $13,085.55 plus shipping without further comment or reporting to the board. Did I summarize that correctly? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? And I abstain. Okay. Is there any other business to bring up? Any other comments, questions? All right. John, go ahead.
Yeah, I just, I wanted to touch base on this speeding situation of people going through the towns a little bit faster.
Okay, John, go ahead.
And I talked to the folks up in Jamaica. They're very pleased, some of them are pretty pleased with the signage. I guess everyone has seen that.
You mean the
Radar signs.
The blinking one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's
Looks
one at
great.
each end. There's one
It's
at each
aesthetic.
end.
Very Vermonty.
They need to put some Christmas stuff around it.
I
Well,
got run over last week, just so you know. The one in Jamaica. We were at their town meeting last night, and that was one of the issues.
somebody ran into it.
I ran it down.
They must have been going pretty fast, right?
Or they're looking at
They
it,
were
trying to
blinded.
see exactly how fast they're going.
So anyway, the situation we have is that no one seems to respect the speed limits in the towns, including some of us. So those obnoxious signs actually get you to pay attention for a while. I don't know for how long, but for a while. So I'm here just to present it as some possibility of trying to slow down the traffic, seeing that we don't have, you know, the sheriff working with us or the state police. I never see them here. Maybe they're here, but I never see them here.
John, is this something planning's working on?
Yes.
I guess the best thing to do with it is come up with your plan and then come back and let us know, because honestly, there's not a lot we can do without some information, either traffic studies or what you want to do, and then we can discuss it in a full forum.
All right.
Okay?
And remember, John, if it's a Route 30 issue, that it's gonna fall into the state's hands.
Yeah, we can't do anything about the state highway.
So who makes the decision
V-Trans.
whether the signs go up or not?
V-Trans.
V-Trans,
So the commission should speak to them?
District 2.
If you were going to do something on Route 30, yeah.
So the planning commission, it's all right to address it directly with them and not
well, we'd like to know what you're saying, certainly, but if you've got a plan that you want to present that involves Route 30, they're the ones that you need to convince that it's necessary.
Okay,
Okay?
yes,
All
all
right.
right, got it, yep.
Anything else? All right, motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Done.
Aye. Okay.